Thank you for joining us on another episode of Real Voices. We have a great show for you. We have our guest today is Cierra Bos. Cierra, tell us a little bit about yourself and your business and who you're serving.
So I am a recent convert to the real estate industry. I left corporate America in October because I was horribly dissatisfied making money for other people. And I don't find myself serving anybody in particular, but what I do really pride myself on is being a friend to my clients and actually becoming friends with them afterwards, which is really great. When I got into this, the reason that I got into this and who led me to it, I felt like she was my best friend and I was doing business with my best friend. And that's all that I wanted out of my 2 existing real estate transactions, was to feel comfort and safe and that somebody cared about me and knew what they were talking about.
Interesting. I like that. I actually have never heard the friendship aspect of it before, so that's pretty cool and interesting. So tell me about your dissatisfaction with corporate America. What was going on? What were you doing before?
So I've been a lot of things in my life. I have been an accountant. I have been a project manager. I have been in skincare development and service industry through college. Pretty much. Oh, I used to collect bugs in the desert. That was really fun. So most recently, I was an accountant again, and I just got tired of everything being the same. And I thought that's why I liked accounting, because I knew what to expect every day, and turns out that's not who I am. So I needed a change.
That's interesting. Real estate really does give you that variety, right?
Very much.
So your friend who brought you in, or was it an agent beforehand?
She was an agent beforehand. She was a referral from a friend of mine who'd left the state, moved back home. And that's how it works really is, hey, I had a great experience. I heard you're looking to buy. Here's my friend. And she even called her a friend. So it was like, okay, yeah, she's the one. I don't need to talk to anybody else.
Interesting. I really do like that business mindset with the friendship. So cool. So tell me a little bit about, since you've been in just for a little while, what do you think the biggest misconception is about being a real estate agent?
That it's easy. I used to think that, even while I was in the classes to get my license, I was like, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to be just a breeze. The classes teach you that no matter what you do, you're going to get sued. So you have to get over that mindset for sure. But after that, I was like, oh, it's going to be a breeze. All I do is talk to people and look at houses. That's not what's happening. I've been working with a lot of renters recently, and it is heartbreaking. Because when you go to buy a house, you're approved first. And then you go look at a house and you like one. And that can be heartbreaking too, because it's hard right now. But with renters, you fall in love with the place, and then you find out that this place had way more stringent acceptance rules than that place, and then they can't get that one, and then it's heartbreak all over again.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when you're dealing with, I guess, trying to get people through that situation and heartbreak, what are some of the things that you do to help them through that as a friend, I guess?
Yeah, and it's just to keep a positive attitude about it, and it's something that I try to convince myself of too, because it's hard to go through heartbreak. I feel like I keep using that word, but it really does feel that way. My husband will attest to it. If this didn't work out, it's because it's not the right one. If this is not the case, if this didn't happen, it wasn't right. We have to just keep pushing. And I'm pretty good at a poker face when I'm talking to other people, but inside I'm just shriveling because I can see the look in their eyes when they like something. And I remember those feelings. I remember my first apartment. I just worked with a girl who just got her very first apartment. Her mom even came with to look at the neighborhood and everything. And then at the end of the day, the deposit was just a tiny bit too much. And so, yeah, it's gut-wrenching some days.
I hear you.
And I haven't even been doing it that long.
Understood. Well, tell me a little bit about your upbringing. Were you raised here?
I am not from here. I am from Eastern Washington. I don't usually tell people that I'm from Spokane because it has a certain connotation with it that I try to avoid. I grew up in the whole Pac Northwest. So I grew up in Spokane, I grew up in super northern rural Idaho, and then in Eugene, Oregon, which is the drastic opposite of rural northern Idaho. And Actually, yesterday was my 9-year anniversary in Phoenix.
Okay, so you've been here for a good
A little
long
while,
time.
yeah.
Okay. So as a kid, were you moving a lot, or okay, what was that about? Family just moving, or
Yeah, single mom.
Okay.
So we jumped around, and I went to a lot of different schools. I think I didn't count, but I think I went to 7 different schools by the time I graduated, and then 4 colleges. So it really just stuck with me.
Wow.
But in that, I learned that if something doesn't fit, you don't have to stay. And that's been, again, I've had like 6 actual corporate careers, and now I'm onto this one. So that's the thing, is like, if you're unhappy, you can change it. And that's what I've been trying to do.
I like that. It's reminding me of something that Morgan Freeman said. You know, he talks about people struggling to leave their particular situation. He's like, man, the bus leaves every day, right? Just get on the bus and go. So,
And it's not that easy, for sure. There are a lot of like things that behind the scenes that have to be put together, and I'd like to give a shout out to my husband for dealing with it, and for, you know, not allowing me, but supporting me in taking this leap and giving up a guaranteed paycheck every 2 weeks. That was hard for both of us. More hard for me. He's not that worried about it, but you know, it takes a lot. I feel like it was a brave thing. Like,
Wow.
ooh, I changed careers, so brave. But walking away from guaranteed money is really scary.
let's talk a little bit about that, because people, this is, you know, I talk with a lot of agents, newer agents who come into the business, and they don't realize that, you know, it's really a business, and you really have, you know, to work at this, and there is no guarantee. So how do you manage that? Expectations at home and at the career, how do you deal with that?
I feel like I'm not managing it very well right now, honestly. I do, because I've been working with so many renters, because I really do have a passion for that. I recently branded myself the unrentable realtor, because I have clients who have 2 80-pound dogs, or I have a client who has probably the worst credit score. I don't know how low credit goes, but that low. And one had a pit bull, and one had a felony, and like all of these things that make it so hard. And I get really emotionally invested. I get emotionally invested in everything that I do, which is a personal problem I'm working on. But so I don't know if I'm managing it well. I can't tell people like, this is the way to do this, or to like go to bed feeling okay, like you did enough work, because I never feel like I did enough. If I haven't made money that day, then I don't feel like I've succeeded really, and I need accomplishments in my life to feel good about myself. Again, personal problems I'm working on. But really, my husband, and honestly my mom, I have like a ridiculously close connection with my mom, and she's not here, but we text all day. I'm serious all day. I do some work on her business also, just to help out, and just a reminder that this is not the end of the world.
I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you being upfront with, you don't know if you're managing it, because in reality, I think we kind of all fall into that. Am I really doing enough? Am I, even very successful people tend to feel, am I really doing enough? So,
And I'm hoping that in 3 years, when I look back, I'll think, oh man, why was I freaking out about that one thing? It was not such a big deal. And I feel that way about every other experience that I've had so far. So I just keep trying to remind myself to maybe take it down a notch.
this too shall pass.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Like a kidney stone.
I like that. Well, I want to go back a little bit with your mom and the relationship that you have there. So growing up, I guess what inspired you? Was it her? What kept you going? What was that?
Yeah. So I do want to mention, just in case my dad watches this, I do also have a dad and a stepmom, and they're also really wonderful. I did primarily spend time with my mom when I was growing up, with her being a single mother. So just, hey dad, it's okay. I still appreciate you too. You're very stable, thank you. But yeah, my mom has been an entrepreneur and worked in corporate her whole life. She's pretty incredible. She has made jewelry. She has made clothes. She made purses. She made fountains out of like clay. And now she actually has a super successful giftware company, and she has a little store down on the port in this tiny town in Oregon that she lives in, and she never fully gave up. She knew when it was time to walk away, but then like 8 months later, here was the next thing. Here was the next business license, and it was really, really inspiring.
Man, we need that, right? We need that in our lives.
Yeah.
Man, nice. So I guess seeing your mom like that, what did you want to be when you were growing up? What did you inspire to be?
How much time do we have?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Everything, one of each. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a scientist. That's actually what I went to college for. I wanted to be a flight attendant, which I think Carlita said. That's not how you pronounce her name.
Yeah.
Anyway, a former guest also said she wanted to be a flight attendant. That sounded fantastic. I wanted to be a physical therapist. I wanted to be a personal trainer. I mean, like all of the things. I even wanted to be a waitress.
Okay.
That's not a fun thing. I did that one. Not great.
It's tough. It's tough serving
really
tables,
hard.
that's for sure. What do you think it's about you that makes you, I guess, the squirrel?
I don't know. I'm just never satisfied.
Okay.
I feel like there's always something more and always something more interesting. I might have a little bit of a case of FOMO and I don't want to miss out on stuff, but also I'm like strapped to the couch half of the time because I'm paralyzed. Like, oh my God, there's so many things. How do I pick? I'm not going to pick. I'm going to watch The Bachelor.
Okay.
So being able to focus into real estate has really, really helped me because it was a hobby first and it was the architecture and it was the market data and it was reading stats, which is not actually fun, but I really enjoyed. And then I was like, oh wait, people do this like as a living.
Right.
So maybe I should try that too. So yeah.
Here you are.
Here I am.
Well, tell me, you mentioned a few things that you've done I guess throughout your life. What would be the most interesting way you've ever earned a buck?
So I thought about this one a lot because there was a time in my life where I made moonshine.
What? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
which is mostly legal.
Right.
The making it is fine, the selling it is,
Right.
Yeah. So my better answer is when I was little, my mom was still doing craft shows at the hospital because it was like I said, I come from Spokane. It's not a tiny town, but it's a small city. And the yearly craft show at Sacred Heart was a huge deal. And my grandma also worked there. And then my mom worked there. And then for a while I worked there too. That was another job. And my grandma was a quilter. And at that point, I think my mom was still doing jewelry and might have started transitioning into clothing. But I handmade Play-Doh and I would sell it at their booths. I think it was like $1 and it came in a Ziploc. But I really loved making all the colors. And it was my grandma's recipe from when she was a kid.
Okay, so homemade Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Sweet.
And it's edible, which is, I mean, it doesn't taste good, but it's better for kids because,
You can eat it.
right, you can. You won't die. And it doesn't have like that weird waxy, cheap crayon smell that Play-Doh has. I was actually thinking I might go make some when I get home today because
Cool.
it's been a while.
So you're still doing that then? Still?
Well, no, not selling it or anything.
But
I just,
still
I like to
play
do
with
stuff
it?
with my hands. So
Okay.
just while I'm on 14 Zooms today.
Yeah, that's life now, right?
Oh my gosh.
Even in real estate.
Yeah, even in real estate.
Okay. How have you managed that?
I do stuff with my hands, and I am big on scheduling. I am ridiculously type A, which it doesn't sound like from even listening back to what I've just said. It doesn't sound like it, but organization is everything to me. And so I have time blocked off, and if I have already blocked something off, then I can't do that Zoom. Even though it might be valuable information, I have already committed to doing this other thing. So that's what's been keeping me sane.
So you stick to the commitment.
I stick to the
time
schedule,
blocking.
yeah.
I find that even though when I do that, I'm like, well, this over here sounds better right now. So sticking to a time block is crucial,
Something
right?
with your hands.
I
It helps that part of the brain that's like, I need to be doing something else. That's not real science, I don't know.
Good feedback, though. I appreciate that. Cool, thank you. So I guess I wanted to kind of dig just a little bit more into the past and what brought you to who you are today. And one of the things I like to ask is something interesting or crazy you've ever done. What's the craziest thing you've ever done in your life? You feel?
So as I was thinking about this, because you did prepare me a little bit, just so that I could not fluster so much, I realized I'm not that interesting. I was like, gosh, I'm not that fun. But then I remembered that my dad, who was great, he was always into extreme sports. We grew up rock climbing and skateboarding and water skiing and wakeboarding because I was around when that became the thing over water skiing. I don't feel old frequently, I sure do now. So I realized that something that I have done that I am very fond of that other people might think is crazy is I've been skydiving. And I loved it.
Yeah, I think that's, I'm afraid of heights, I guess. I'm
am
more
too.
afraid of falling, I guess.
Oh,
So, yeah. So you do that often or just?
I've done it a couple times. It is expensive. And obviously right now, not an option. And in Phoenix, it has to be in a certain time of the year because if it's too hot, then the drafts are weird and you can get, it can be dangerous.
I didn't know that.
Generally, it's not dangerous, but like you can't go in August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Noted.
Because you're totally going to do it now.
For me, that's pretty crazy and adventurous, so for sure.
Yeah, it's awesome. But I am terrified of heights. I hate ladders. I hate ladders. But somehow jumping
out
out,
of the plane, you're good.
I mean, you're so far that it doesn't, it's something a flip switches.
Okay.
A switch flips? That's what I meant.
Okay, I feel you. All right. Maybe I will do that one day. Everybody's, you got to do it.
It's really fun.
I hear you. Well, tell me something you think you change if you could change anything in your life. Would you do anything over?
I know that the proper answer is no, because
Right.
I am happy with where I'm at, and I worked really hard to get here, and I have a really great relationship, and I have a beautiful home, and I have too many animals, and that all makes me so happy. But yeah, I got into so much debt in my early 20s, and it followed me up until like 4 years ago, and it was devastating. So yeah, there are definitely like things that I would have not done.
So what will you tell the kids then? How would they get, because I mean, I would assume it's for school like the rest of us.
Oh, that too. Yeah. Oh, I wasn't even. This was just credit cards and like a car. I bought a lemon that I couldn't refinance. And yeah, to the kids, don't let other people make your financial decisions. I let somebody talk me into buying a car that I should not have at a 26% interest rate.
Yeah, it happens.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that followed me for a really long time. And I was really lucky because finally the balance got low enough. My dad paid it off on his credit card, which was like an 8% interest rate. And then I was just paying his credit card. So that's like what propelled me. And then also, like I said, I have too many animals. So I had a lot of vet bills.
I appreciate you being honest about that because I typically do get the, nothing, I'm good. Which, I think we all have something that we feel that, I think we could probably do that if everything else would be still the same, right? Yeah.
Right.
So I appreciate you being honest and sharing that. Cool. Well, I want to talk to you about your book here.
Yeah.
You brought The Phantom Toll Booth. Tell us a little bit about why that's your favorite book.
So this is not just my favorite book. This is the book. I have had this since 3rd grade. As you can tell. I did sanitize it before I came in, just so you know. It has been Lysoled. So I know that there are more interesting things to read in the world, and I know that you can read for prosperity and you can read to learn something and be a better person, and I don't enjoy reading those things. I'll listen to a podcast about that, or I'll get on a Zoom, but when I read, it's to not exist in reality anymore. So this book, like I said, I've had it since 3rd grade. I don't know what it is about it. I keep this copy in my car. And when I'm in the parking lot at the vet or a really long line at Starbucks, something like that, I'll just flip to a random page and just read like 3 or 4 sentences. Also, it's very large print, so it's easy to get through. But it taught me that things can be fun and that even the most mundane parts like language, like the way that you talk, can be so interesting and you can play with it. And the point of the book, not really, but one of the underlying themes is don't be so verbose because you don't need to be, but it's still like, I don't know, it's just a reminder. Just have fun with it.
Yeah, stay young, right?
Yeah.
Stay young.
Yeah.
I like that. I appreciate
Thanks.
it. Yeah, and again, I appreciate you being real about what your favorite book is as well. Well, that's all the questions I have for you. I really appreciate you being here. But where can people find you? And again, let us know who you are and who you serve.
Yeah, I'm on all social media, too much. I do block time for that.
You have to.
Yeah, exactly. I'm Cierra Bos. The spelling of my name will be in the description, hopefully. Thanks, Mom. And I'm here. I'm around. I am all around Phoenix all the time. I am constantly driving around.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome.